Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
We begin with breaking news out of West Fargo. That's where fire crews are responding to another roof collapse.
This one is reportedly at the Red River Valley Fairgrounds. Now, there's no word on which building it is. We are hearing that no one was injured. We have a crew on the way. We'll bring you the latest as soon as we get it.
Time to shift our attention from growing snow piles to how high the Red River will get. The latest flood outlook from the National Weather Service increases the likelihood of moderate to major flooding along the Red.
Fueled by 2 recent wet and snowy storms in the valley, the projections say it's likely that the Red River in Fargo-Moorhead will rise to about 35 feet. It also shows a 50-50 chance it'll reach nearly 38 feet. The numbers are 2 to 3 feet higher than the report issued a week ago.
Fargo's record crest was 40.8 feet in 2009, but much has been done in terms of flood protection since then. And the odds of the Red reaching that level are projected at less than 1 in 10. A spokesperson for the city of Fargo says flood fight planners have been meeting over the last 3 weeks, adding that those meetings have intensified recently. The city of Moorhead says flood protection projects were designed for the levels addressed in the outlook.
In Grand Forks, the new outlook suggests a strong chance that the Red will top 47 feet. And there's a 50-50 chance the Red in Grand Forks will get to about 50.5 feet.
Now, there is some good news in the latest flood outlook. The Weather Service says the forecast over the next 2 weeks is favorable for a gradual spring thaw. Valley News Team's Justin Fanfarelli is here with more on that and a first look at tonight's forecast. Justin?
And thank you, Andrea and Mike. Good evening, everybody. I want to start off tonight with the 7-day forecast to show you how favorable it is over the next week as the snow will start to melt. First off, very dry other than a few passing snow showers over the weekend. We will see partly cloudy to mostly sunny skies. Temperatures rising through the 30s from Saturday through Wednesday, but freezing overnight with lows near 20. We will have faster melt as we're going to get into the 40s for Thursday and Friday and possibly into the 50s for next weekend. So we'll keep our eyes on that, but we will not be adding to the moisture mainly over the next week. So for tonight, here's what to plan on. Partly cloudy to mostly clear skies. Temperatures falling from the mid-20s to around the upper teens as we make our way through the 7 to 9 o'clock hour, and a slight increase in the clouds, mostly cloudy by later on to the evening, but staying dry as the wind does diminish. We'll tell you what to expect going through this weekend and through the next 7 days coming up later in the newscast.
All right, thanks, Justin.
Crews are back at it again today, working at 52nd Avenue South in Fargo. This is a bird's eye view of what's going on right now. A stretch of 52nd is closed from 45th to 63rd Streets to allow for the tearing out of the bridge you see there and replacing it with 2 new bridges. It's the first portion of a larger project to provide better traffic flow in that growing part of the city. The work is expected to last through the summer.
If it takes us this much to put out the fire to get to them, it's a matter of life and death.
When there's a fire, every second spent fighting it is crucial. That's why many cities, big and small, depend on Good Samaritans to dig out fire hydrants ahead of time.
Valley News Team's Rose Itzkovitz asks, with so many of them still buried in the snow, whose job should it be to dig them out?
As the once light, fluffy snow turns hard and icy, how long does it take to dig out a fire hydrant in times of emergency? In Abercrombie, North Dakota, the volunteer fire department posted a video showing just that.
The longest time we had one to locate it and clean it out, and a path back through took us over 5 minutes.
And with a population of some 250 people, small cities like Abercrombie rely on neighbors to help dig them out.
It just doesn't pay for our city to hire somebody to do it in a smaller community.
But in larger cities like West Fargo, Fargo, and Moorhead, should there be a crew hired by the city to do it?
Currently, with the snow that we have, our public works, our plow drivers are completely swamped just maintaining our streets, which they're doing a great job of keeping the streets clear.
Fargo Fire Assistant Chief Tim Binfit says there are more than 7,000 fire hydrants in Fargo alone.
If we had all of our crews, which is 9 crews out for 8 hours every day, Monday through Sunday, it would take about 33 days to get each hydrant dug out.
He says it helped tremendously when a neighbor grabbed a shovel as crews arrived at a garage fire on 10th Street early Thursday morning.
Which saved us minutes. Just as our truck was getting ready to run out of water from the firefight, we were able to connect with the hydrant and resupply with water.
That's why even large cities say it's crucial for able neighbors to help dig fire hydrants out. West Fargo, which has more than 2,000 hydrants, encourages folks to adopt a fire hydrant.
You just get to know that you are truly helping, making a big difference for a potential emergency.
And firefighters tell me one thing about adopting a fire hydrant: there are no annual fees to do it. Rose Iskowitz, Valley News Live.
The West Fargo Fire Department even has a contest where neighbors can send in before and after pictures clearing out your nearby fire hydrants. They're handing out tumblers as a reward.
Moorhead Public Works is asking for your help clearing storm drains as temperatures begin to warm. Crews have started clearing storm drains this week, but they're also still removing and hauling snow. Moorhead has 6,200 drains and they could use some assistance. If you would like to help, contact Public Works at this phone number, 218-299-5422.
Late this afternoon, 96 people were still without power in the rural southeastern North Dakota area. Dakota Electric says that they aren't able to get out to these locations that are without power due to the drifts and snowy conditions. But the electric company says the community has stepped up, plowing streets for them so they are able to get to the broken lines.
I have a whole page of people that called about the type of equipment they had in large tractors, payloaders, four-wheel drive tractors or dozers, things like that. So it proves I can select from that list when the guys are in that area, you know, to open it up.
Dakota Valley Electric says that they're doing their best that they can to hope to get the power back on within a few days.
Authorities want you to know about a level 3 sex offender who is living in Grand Forks. Stephen Michael Korb recently moved from Candu and is now residing at 802 North 5th Street, Unit number 3 in Grand Forks. Korb has a conviction for a corruption of a minor in 2010. He must register for a lifetime in North Dakota.
Minnesota state and local agencies are investigating what they're calling a death scene. It's happening in Norman County. The sheriff's office there responded to reports of a body found in a field near County Highway 39 around 7:30 this morning. That's near Borup, Minnesota. It's unclear what happened at this point in the death, but investigators are working on it. According to the sheriff's office, Minnesota law enforcement stated they don't believe that there is a danger to the public. We'll continue to gather information on this story, so stick with Valley News Live for updates.
It's time to take a look at this week's Valley's Most Wanted. Police say 39-year-old Jacqueline Morin is wanted for probation violation on a drug paraphernalia charge. You can call your local law enforcement if you have any information on her.
Around 1,000 Minnesota students skipped school to gather on the steps of the state capitol in St. Paul. It was part of the global protest by young people demanding that the government take swift action to fight climate change. They chanted anti-fossil fuel slogans and voiced their demands to safeguard the planet and their future, calling for passage of the Green New Deal, a sweeping environmental plan backed by progressives. 16-year-old Farah Bergstrom of Wayzata High School says climate change is not a distant issue for young people, adding the next generations are the ones that'll be affected the most.
We call for a real national emergency. We need to cause an uproar.
Similar school strikes inspired by a Swedish activist were planned in Rochester and Duluth.